What I really want to talk about is actually the certainty you have in your business, specifically about my client. It's a very interesting thing because I think at different moments in our life, we can get trapped in this feeling that, or in the sense that we don't have it in us to get to a certain level. So this could be very useful for everybody. If you're joining in, please do drop a hi and say hi to me. I'd love that. Otherwise, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about my client, Kim, and how we actually ended up shifting this in her. So Kim had a pretty successful business when she and I first met. She was at roughly about $3 million ARR. Okay. And had about 19 years of expertise in her craft. I'm going to keep her a little anonymous because of our confidentiality as a client. She had a great client base. She enjoyed working with them. She had the proof. Everything was great. But see, Kim wanted to grow to that next level without going crazy with her hours. She wanted to kind of keep things controlled for herself. Okay. And so what she did was she and I started working together when she said, I think I can go for a higher level of investment in my program, in my work. And she raised her prices. So when that happened, she noticed something very interesting. She would get into every client conversation, and the moment she got in, her thoughts would start spiraling. Am I going to get them the outcomes that they need to get? Will they renew with me? Will they go away because I've raised my prices? And you know what was the real thing about this? Like I said, she had 19 years of expertise. She knew what she was doing. She was consistently putting time and energy into upgrading her skills constantly. She was always bringing value to her clients. And yet, the doubt was there, right? And we can all relate to this. This is like, in the work that we do, sometimes this happens where we bring in doubt. But the odd thing is, in this situation, she hadn't even had the client session yet. So here she was, literally her stress response is all triggered. She's out in that future moment trying to predict how that first session is going to go even before it has happened. The client has already said yes, but she doesn't have a container to hold the client in when they're walking in to have their first session with her. And what I've learned the hard way in business is this. If you're not present to your clients, they're going to sense that. If you're not with them, they're going to feel that. And that first session that you have with them is the foundation of all the work you're going to do with them. Whatever you're doing transformational work, whether you're actually running a consulting practice or whether you have some other kind of business, it doesn't matter. The first session is what sets the tone for the rest of the engagement or the rest of the sessions, how we want to look at it. And so she was already projecting into the future how she will not be able to get them the results. And guess what? If this is the body and the mind, right? This is where she's going, then it's likely that that's what's going to happen. So one of the most important things for Kim was to come back to focus on her clients. This was absolutely pivotal for her. And so when we started talking, she explained that her tightness was sitting right in her belly. Like she could feel it even during the initial call where, she presented her offer. And so that in itself is telling a story of where she had put a ceiling on her work. And again, this is a woman who's accomplished great things. She's making great amount of money. She is doing the things she loves. There seems to be absolutely nothing missing when you look at her life. But inside, there was something missing for her. Her connection to the work was gone in that moment. And for her to be successful, it was very important for her to bring back the connection to her work. So when we looked behind this tightness that she felt in her belly, we uncovered that there was always this voice that would trigger that said, something along I don't want to reveal the exact thing, but something along the lines of, this is not something you can handle. So we traced it back, we followed it back. And what we realized was that it was in the early years of her business that she'd heard over and over again that she would never get what she was asking for. Practically, the feedback given to her from the marketplace was that, no, you're not going to get this, you're not going to get this. So at the time, she had wanted to go in at a higher level, but because of the feedback, she downgraded the level at which she went in. Now, there's the topic for another day, but when that happens, you're already coming into the marketplace pretty low. So now you're going to have to work yourself up to a certain rate. But so in a lot of ways, where Kim was not like she was going way beyond where her skill set was, that she couldn't charge or, ask for that investment. So when we looked at what had happened in that time, we realized that that's where it was all sitting. So one person's opinion had the ability to influence her conviction in her own work because she was more externally focused than internally focused in that moment in time. I'm not asking you to be unrealistic when I say this, okay? Obviously, there's a cap in the marketplace. We all understand that, right? We're all people who have been in business for a long time. But if you really understand the value of what you're bringing to the table, then you understand that the market pricing is actually quite flexible in that whatever the client needs and wants, that's what the pricing is for. That's what the investment, better word, right? Investment is for. So if you're able to show the client that where you can come in and help them and they can see the investment, then there's nothing stopping them from investing. But Kim didn't have that conviction in her work. She didn't understand where she offered the maximum opportunity for her clients to get great results with her. If you go into mindset work, they're going to say, just power through that. And Kim had already been powering through that since the beginning of her journey as a business owner. She'd been used to powering through that. But this time it felt different for her. She'd reached an inflection point where powering through it wasn't enough for her. She needed to really believe it because she was already up there at 3 million annual revenue. This is a woman who had achieved great things. So we looked into this, we brought back the full conviction in her work. That's what we did. That's what we worked on. We didn't look at her strategy because obviously she's already gotten to 3 million. Her strategy could always do with a few tweaks here and there, but nothing major, which we did do later on, but not at that time. The first thing we did was work on this. And without changing anything in her strategy, in 14 months, she got to 5 million. Part of what happens when we do this type of work, alignment work, you can call it inner work, whatever you want to call it. This work is about giving you the conviction to move forward. So what happens in that process is when you're confident in your results come clients. And when your results come faster, you're able to get more people, more clients in lesser amount of time. And so she actually doubled her client capacity while increasing her prices. And because of this, in the same amount of time she had always spent at work, she got to 5 million revenue. Now, most business owners will feel the doubt coming up. And what do they try to do? It's like this paper, right? They just try to crumple it and throw it away. That's what they try to do with it. But see, doubt is telling us something. Doubt is a signal that is indicating something that is not resolved. And when we can bring what that thing is specifically that is not resolved, then what happens is there's clarity. When there's clarity, value that you provide, you convert your prospects into clients faster, you get your clients' results faster, and you increase your prices. And when you do it in combination, nothing in your specific strategy has changed, but your results have changed. That's what happens. So this is the change that is possible when We work on that specific pattern that is stopping you from scaling to that next level. For those of you who don't know me, I want to also introduce myself. I think I forgot to do that in the beginning. My name is Vidya, and I have been guiding founders and executives for a very, very long time. I've been in Fortune 500 companies as an independent consultant for many, many years, working with leaders and executives, also working with founders simultaneously, hand in glove on major initiatives that not only had the impact on the future and the revenue of the business, but also impacted the reputation of the business. This has been my entire lifetime of work. This is my expertise, and I'm to all of you. If you're interested in reaching me, it's very simple. Feel free to DM me, or you can leave a comment underneath this live video. Ping me, ask me questions. I'm happy to connect and offer anything I can. Okay. Thank you very much, and hope you all have a great day. I'm going to go back to playing with my dog with these paper balls.